Vikram and Betaal. In the city of Ujjain, King Vikramaditya was renowned far and wide for his justice, valor, and wisdom. One day, as the king was sitting in his court after completing his royal duties, a sage arrived. He carried a basket full of fruits. The sage respectfully bowed to the king and said, "Your Majesty, I have longed to see you for many days. These fruits are my offering to you." King Vikramaditya graciously accepted the fruits and respectfully bid farewell to the sage. This continued for several days. The sage would bring fruits every day and the king would accept them. One day, out of curiosity, the king broke open a fruit and a precious gem fell out. The king understood that this sage was no ordinary person. The next day, the king asked the sage, "Great sage, the fruits you bring are not ordinary. There must be some purpose behind them." The sage smiled and said, "Your Majesty, I need your help. If you assist me in a certain task, it would be a great favor to me." King Vikramaditya said without hesitation, "If the task is not against righteousness, I will certainly help you." The sage explained that he needed to bring betel from a tree located in a cremation ground. The condition was that the king would not utter a single word on the way. King Vikramaditya accepted the challenge. In the darkness of the night, the king reached the cremation ground. There was silence all around and a mysterious rustling in the air. Betel was seen hanging upside down from the tree. The king courageously lifted him onto his shoulder and set off. On the way, Betel laughed and said, "O king, you are very valiant, but are you also wise? I will tell you a story, and at the end I will ask a question. If you know the answer but do not reply, your head will burst." The king remained silent. Betaal began to narrate the story. In a city lived two friends, Dharmashil and Kapati. They started a business together. Dharmashil was honest, while Kapati earned money through deceit and trickery. One day they suffered a loss in business, and the two parted ways. Years later, Dharmashil became prosperous through hard work, while Kapati became impoverished due to his sins. One day, Kapati asked Dharmashil for help. Dharmashil gladly gave him money. After some time, Kapati devised a plan to trap Dharmashil with the same money and accused him of theft. The king ordered an investigation. Eventually, the truth came out and Kapati was punished. Betaal asked, "Tell me, O king, who was the biggest fool in this story?" King Vikramaditya couldn't help but think and replied, "The biggest fool was Kapati, who harmed the very person who had helped him." Hearing this, Betaal laughed loudly and flew off the king's shoulder, hanging back on the tree. The king understood that he would have to try again. This sequence was repeated several times. Each time, Betaal narrated a story, asked a question, and the king answered. Finally, the king gathered his patience and decided that no matter what happened, he would not break his silence. The last time the king carried Betaal narrated an extremely difficult story and asked a question. The king knew the answer, but he remained silent. Betaal was pleased and said, "O king, you have proven both your intelligence and self-control. Now listen to the truth." Betaal revealed that the ascetic was actually a tantric who wanted to attain supernatural powers by sacrificing the king. If the king had answered the last question, his end would have been certain. Knowing this, King Vikramaditya went to the ascetic and foiled his plan. The tantric himself fell into his own trap. Betaal blessed the king and said, "In the kingdom of such a just and wise king, the people will always be happy." King Vikramaditya returned victorious to Ujjain. His fame spread even further. This story teaches us that true victory is achieved only through wisdom, patience, and righteousness.